Well, I was in the process of making a motor mount for this thing because the old one, well, for starters, it's kind of broken and it's actually too tall. That's about 17 millimeters or 11/16 in the old scale, which by the time I put that on and then the engine, not a lot of clearance. So I was just going to use some 6mm 1/4 inch flat bar and have a piece going across here and pieces going this way, but that didn't work because I really wanted it so these pieces went that way so I could mount it down onto the plate underneath so I could get at the bolt holes. But the problem with that is, well, there, you probably can't tell, these two little nubs sit out, so that when I put a piece that way, you can see it doesn't sit down, it doesn't sit on the base. So what I've had to do, start off with a 3mm, which will go across like that, like that, and then let's try that again. So the 3mm will sit across like that, and then these pieces, which are now 5mm, not 6, will go that way. So I took some measurements and drilled up holes in them, tried to fit it up, and well, this one doesn't fit, it doesn't work. Then I found out why. Probably can't tell on camera, but it's not square. Alright, I've got an adjustable square here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set that at the top of the bolt hole. You know what? I'm going to do better than that. I'll put a bolt in there. And a bolt in there. That way I can rest this on the bolt. So we've got it flat there, and of course it's not going to let me. Now I'm not too concerned about the actual measurement. I know what the actual measurement is, but there we go, that's nice and square across that edge. Let's check it on the other side. There's a gap there. And I mean, it doesn't look like much, but it's actually quite a sizable gap when you're talking about the difference between hit and miss. So what that tells me is, well, that base is not square. It's not perfectly, the measurements aren't the same. There you go. So now what I need to do is I need to file out one of these holes to make it fit. Moral of this story is always double check all your measurements. Don't just take for granted that that's the same as that and that's the same as that. A few years ago my brother was building a house and he knew that nothing was perfect. It wasn't perfect. There was a few measurements that were out by a few millimeters. But then he had to get a set of stairs built. The guys came in, measured the stairs, and brought them back when they'd done them, and they didn't fit. There was huge gaps everywhere because what they did was they measured there and there, same as I did. Like this, it wasn't square, so instead of just measuring there and there, they should have also measured there and there. Alright, long hole. Let's see if it works. One's in there. Will that one go in there? Yep, beautiful. There we go. Oh, so that's the base of the frame on. Now what I need to do is, once I centre these on there, I'll weld these in place. So that'll give us our 4 mounting points. Now, unfortunately, I can't do that now because I've run out of welding wire. But once they're on there, that'll kind of sit there like that, and then we can mount it down to the base plate. So that in itself is going to be a task because it's already welded down to the frame, and well, there's no holes in it yet. So I'm going to have to drill and file out, grind out, whatever I end up doing, the holes in that plate in there. Oh joy. Cutting slots in a sheet of metal can be interesting. Some people drill holes in the ends, use a grinder to cut in between. That's not really neat. Tends to leave scars at each end of the slot. The easiest way I found is, well, this. Mark out your 2 ends, and once you've established them, chuck some holes in between, equidistant from each other, so that you end up at the end with, once you drill them out to full size, you end up with something like that. Hang on a sec. Move that out of the way. There we go. Yeah, no, they're not straight. But then once you end up with that, then you carefully grab your drill and lean it over to the side each way. Carefully, so you don't break the bit. You end up with something like that. And once you've ended up with that, take a file, clean it up, you're done. Almost there. Got all the hard bits out of the way. Okay, I'll admit it, I cheated. I put an 8mm roughing milling bit in my drill and just kind of cleaned up alright. So here's the engine mount, all finished. Give it a coat of that special silver paint. In case anyone's wondering, it's actually a zinc primer. It's supposed to inhibit rust, but having that happen, that doesn't really inhibit rust. But anyway, that's it, all bolted up, ready to bolt to the engine plate, which, as you can see, all the holes are cleaned up, all the slots are nice and clean and kind of straight. Yeah, that one's not, I know. And that bolts straight in. And there it is, sitting on the plate. Now again, I've used these coach bolts with the square head on them, and those bolts fit into the slot. Nice and, well, not firm, but they're not going to go anywhere. So I can basically adjust the engine single tool style. So the bolt goes through the plate, through the mount, nut goes on top. I don't need a tool underneath because it's held in place, and you guys can't see that. As I just showed you, that's locked in the slot, so that's not going to turn. So once I get a spanner or a socket on the nut on top, I can do it with one hand. So that's that. Moving on to the next step. Thanks for watching. See you next time.